A frightening and deadly parasite known as the flesh-eating screwworm has been detected in a person in the United States for the very first time, sparking concern among health officials and the agricultural community. But here's where it gets even more alarming. The screwworm isn't just any parasite. It feeds on the living tissue of warm-blooded animals, including livestock, and if left untreated, it almost always leads to death. This parasitic fly has been causing havoc since late last year, with an outbreak beginning in parts of Central America and southern Mexico. Now, a confirmed case has emerged in the U.S., specifically in Maryland, involving a person who had recently traveled from Guatemala. This revelation was shared by Beth Thompson, the state veterinarian of South Dakota, who mentioned she was informed about the case just within the past week. Maryland state officials have also confirmed the case to the media. The good news is the individual received treatment and necessary prevention protocols were promptly set in motion. However, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, and the Maryland Department of Health have yet to issue detailed public statements when approached for comments. So, what exactly is the screwworm? The female screwworm fly targets wounds on warm-blooded animals to lay her eggs. When these eggs hatch, hundreds of larvae emerge, armed with piercing mouthparts that burrow aggressively into living flesh. This process is not only excruciating, but can have devastating effects on cattle, wildlife, and occasionally humans too. Treating an infestation is far from simple. It requires the painstaking removal of every larva, combined with thorough wound cleaning and disinfection. While the parasite is deadly if untreated, early intervention can save lives. This confirmed case is likely to create ripples in the beef and cattle markets, which are already experiencing record-high prices due to limited supply. The United States usually imports over 1 million cattle annually from Mexico for beef production. The ongoing screwworm outbreak threatens to inflict significant economic damage, particularly in Texas, the nation's largest cattle producer. The potential costs related to livestock fatalities, labor, and medication could climb as high as $1.8 billion. In response, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA, has taken measures such as setting traps and deploying mounted officers along the U.S.-Mexico border to contain the spread. Yet, some cattle producers and market analysts have voiced criticism, arguing that the USDA should have accelerated efforts by enhancing sterile fly production facilities, a key tool in controlling this pest. What is a sterile fly facility? You might wonder. This method, once successful in eradicating screwworms from the U.S. back in the 1960s, involves breeding vast numbers of male screwworm flies that are sterilized before being released into the wild. When these sterile males mate with wild females, it results in no offspring, gradually collapsing the population. Encouragingly, just last week, the U.S. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins announced plans to construct a new sterile fly facility in Texas as part of the fight against this parasite. Ms. Rollins has repeatedly vowed to prevent screwworm from establishing itself in the country. Meanwhile, Mexico has also been proactive, investing approximately $51 million in its own sterile fly production facility as a way to curb the outbreak that threatens livestock across the region. According to USDA estimates, to keep the pest out completely, around 500 million sterile flies would need to be released each week, pushing the infestation back toward the Darien Gap, a dense rainforest stretch between Panama and Colombia. And this is the part most people miss. Despite the clear danger and ongoing efforts, the question remains whether government agencies have done enough and how quickly they can contain this menace before it wreaks more havoc. Could more aggressive or alternative strategies serve better? What are the potential long-term impacts on the U.S. cattle industry and food security? We invite you to share your thoughts and opinions. Do you agree with the current approach, or do you think more radical actions are necessary to stop this deadly parasite in its tracks?